Okay, so we're going to get started here. I'd like to welcome Kathy Marshik. She is with the Morrison County Veterans Service Office, and it seems like several of you know her. She has a packet. We're making a few more copies, so we'll have more for all of you, but it looks like a phenomenal packet and lots of information today. So thank you so much for coming. We're very excited to have you.
You're welcome. And so I'm going to start out with a fun little thing that a lot of you will hear on the radio, because I thought that would just be fun because you're going to hear my ability of singing and know why I'm a VSO and not a singer.
Rocking away the holidays with the Morrison County Veterans Service Office. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. We are here to help you find the true meaning of the holidays, a time of happiness, peace, and safety. For some, this time of year can be stressful, lonely, or chaotic. Keep a healthy, positive attitude, taking care of yourself physically and mentally will help ensure you don't get the holiday blues. The Morrison County Veterans Service Office is here to help you. Happy holidays, everyone. This ad is sponsored by Veterans Linkage Line. Call them at 1-800-LINK-VET.
Well, we got it playing again. We don't want to keep doing that. All right, but that's my ability of singing. But yes, I'm Kathy Marshik, and here's a picture of my staff, my helpers. So I have Jim Segler, he's our administrative assistant, and then we have Luann Jarvis. A lot of people have probably worked with her. She is my assistant that helps do a lot of the claims that we do in our office. We were at the old courthouse. We thought we'd do something different. I always like to include my people that work with me. I wanted to show, because as most of you know, we're doing a remodel at the courthouse, so I kind of wanted to explain how do people find us, because people are wandering all over the place going, where in the world is that Veterans Service Office? So when you pull up front on Highway 27, there's this door, and then there's one that's further to the west. That's the door that you come in and you find us. There's signs that'll say Public Health and Veterans Services. So that's where we are for a while here until we have the remodel finished. Then where are we going after the remodel's done? Well, where we're going to go, you'll park then in the back on the south side of the building, and you'll be able to come in through that door, and we'll be right on your right-hand side. So where you guys go get your driver's license right now, we'll be right across from there. So you won't have to go up any steps or anything. We'll be right there, and it'll be easy for everyone to find. So I think that'll work nice. But I apologize right now for everybody that's had to wander around a little bit, but I think if you ask people, where do you find us, they're all real helpful. A little bit about who in the world is Kathy Marshik, our VSO. So I'm married to Glenn Marshik, and he is from the Piers area. This is where he grew up. So he graduated in 1989 from here, and I have two beautiful daughters. I have a daughter named Sierra, who's 21, and another daughter who's Brianna, and she's 17. She's going to be graduating this year. So one's in the military, the other one's going to be a nurse, so they're doing all kinds of great things in the world. And just a little bit about my education. I did go to college while I was in the military, so I have a supervisory management degree from Central Lakes College, and then a Bachelor of Arts degree from Concordia, and then a Master's in Human Resources. So I did a lot of education while I was in the military. I actually worked full-time for the military and cover a little bit about that at Camp Ripley for many years. I was out there, worked for 21 years. I did a little bit of medical in my background. I had engineering, I had maintenance, human resource, and I also did medical readiness. So that's kind of what helped me in the job that I do today, because of all of that background, I'm able to take that and be able to more effectively help people that are having issues in the military, because I know what kind of paperwork they're working with. If anything, I definitely knew what a DD-214 was, that discharge paperwork. Probably typed a few of those up back in the day. So that's just a little bit about me, and oh yes, I was a Kaczynski, so I was definitely Polish. That's where I grew. I grew up northwest of Little Falls on a dairy farm, so definitely have that background. So there we go, on to the next slide. So there's me. That's where I began. So there you see me. I was milking a cow and then my graduation pictures, but back in the day before I started doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of back and forth here. That's me when I first started the military, and a little bit about my history. So I did serve overseas in Iraq. I was there for probably about 15 months when my kids were younger. So it was a great learning experience. Got to do what we did when we went there is we built up a base, getting it ready for other soldiers and military people, service members that were coming over to Iraq. So we were just north of Baghdad, actually, is where we were located, and did a bunch of engineering stuff. And then after that, I came back and went into the medical corps for the last ending of my career, which was a great experience. So what a wide array of things to do. I don't know, just never get bored. But the next ones, we're just kind of a family of military. So there's my beautiful daughter. So my daughter is in the Air Guard. So she is working up in the 148th, and she actually is a crew chief on fighter jets, so she fixes those. So now I get to see that other side. I know what my mother went through. And when I'm working with veterans, that's actually really helpful too, because you're working with family and seeing that other side of it. So you know what it's like to be the parent of a veteran and also being the veteran. But on my next one, here I go, I'll be entertaining. There's my dad. So also my father was a Vietnam vet, so I've also gotten to be on that side of it as a child of a veteran as well. And so he served in 1965 to 66 in the military, and then he was just like that drill sergeant. It was really interesting when growing up. He always made sure the barn was perfectly clean and stuff, so he had me prepared for my lifetime mission of being in the military and working with that type of thing my whole life. And then our next one, we always work with this. I make it entertaining and hyper, if anything, right after you eat. And there's my cute little family. So this is back in the day. There's my husband on this side, and then of course, obviously, and then my two daughters when they were little. And now they're all grown up. It's just crazy how that goes. But while I was in service, they were really part of it. They were part of a lot of the things that I had to do, and that's the way families are. So many of you in here are family members, and I'm glad that you're here because you need to hear about all the benefits and those types of things too. And then the people that brought me into the world, of course, my mom and dad are up on the top corner. I had just gotten back from Iraq, so you see the look on my mom's face. She was pretty excited to have her baby back. So I know how that feels now too. And then a lot of you that are in here from Piers probably know Marge and Alvin Marshik, so I am their daughter-in-law, and they were with me when they were sending me off. And then I got a picture of me and my brother and my mom down in the corner. So just fun to see who we all are. And now I will try this and see. There's a little bit about what I did overseas, so just kind of the funny pictures. I have a funny story. I like to keep things entertained. So the picture of me with the dust in my hair, I don't remember how we did it, but I sent that home to my mom, and she was concerned what happened, how much I had aged while I was over there, because she thought that my hair went gray. But no, it was really dust. And then stirring a little bit of, what do you think I'm stirring in those pots there? Is it stew? Not quite, a little bit of doo-doo back there. Yeah, good stuff there. Not really, that's not a fun job, but I didn't have to do that a whole lot. And then the old telephones. Now, when people go overseas, it's totally different. Everything's computerized and things are a lot different. But back in 2003, we were still using old school stuff, kind of crazy. And here's a little bit about some statistical information, because everybody wants to know, who do we serve, what do we do? So we have about 4,500 people that we have in a database in our office right now. But does that mean that we have all the veterans in our county that come see me? I can guarantee we don't, because I'm always getting new ones. So that's where I need the help of all of you in here. If you know someone who has served, or if one of you has not been to a VSO office, come in and see us. Because even if you don't think you need anything, bringing in that discharge paperwork and talking about the different benefits that I'll explain a little bit later, you might be eligible for something that you don't know about. It's always good to check and have that paperwork in our office. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. Having your discharge paperwork at our office makes things a lot easier, because if something happens to that veteran, and all of a sudden, what happens? The family's in a panic, because then whenever you lose a loved one, it's a hard time. So if we can make things easier, if we have that paperwork in our office, that's one less thing that your family has to try to find. Because I can put my paperwork somewhere up from by myself and forget where I put it. So if I expect my family to find that, good luck, might not happen, right? So there's kind of where we are with that. So we see probably different ways that we work with people. We work with them via email, sometimes it's on the phone, or they come into our office. But we have about 1,000 people that we work with in a month time, between the three of us. So in some contact, one way or another, whether it's a family member, a veteran, or whomever, that's a lot of people that we deal with in many different ways. And about our customer base, we have probably about 10% of those that are females. I know we got a lot more women out there that are serving now, so I anticipate that's going to grow and grow as time goes on, and getting those people to come see us. But our biggest number right now that we see is probably our Vietnam veterans. I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of the presumptives of the Agent Orange type things and stuff like that. They're finally realizing, okay, now I've got these things and I can actually get service connected for those. So that's probably where we're seeing a lot of that era. They didn't know about it in the past. And our goal is, one of my goals that I'm really trying to reach out to is when our young people get done with right away when they finish their initial training. Well, if like we have a lot of National Guard in this area. So if National Guard people come in and see us as soon as they're done with basic training and their initial training that they do for their job field, they get that DD 214, bring it in and see us. Why would I do that? Maybe they haven't been in war, they haven't done anything. They're still eligible for different types of benefits. If something happens where they end up in a financial crisis, or if they pass away or something happens, we have that paperwork right away. And we can talk about things like home loans. We can talk about health care that they might be eligible for. Or, wow, I actually got hurt while I was at basic training. You might be entitled to some VA benefits. So any type of active duty, or if you have family members that are younger and they just came back from the Marines or the Navy, sometimes they do a great job without processing those people, and other times they don't. So it's great to get people as young as possible to come in and see us, and then we want people to keep revisiting us every so often, because maybe things have changed, maybe benefits have changed, maybe you've got a condition that's service connected and we can get an increase. So it's good to check back every so often so we can see if you're eligible for something new. That's all the branches that we serve. So that's a lot of different kinds of people. And I didn't even, I knew about all these, but you don't really think about it. When we look at like the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, that stands for the families. So we not only work with all the branches of service, but we serve the families as well. So that's the part that we don't want to forget about. Here's all the things that we do. Did you know? Everybody probably puts that connection that we help with service-connected injuries, those kinds of things. There's VA pension for widows. So if a loved one passes away and if a widow is in financial hardship, they can come see us and there may be benefits and entitlements for them if they're veterans served during a wartime period. Burial benefits. We do burial benefits. So anytime that a veteran passes away, we tell the spouses or family members to come in and see us, because then we can go through, everybody's different. What one person's entitled to is not the same as the next person. So we have to go through each individual and look through when they served and what kind of benefits they're getting and why did they pass away, and then we can figure out what they're entitled to. But we encourage everybody, and a lot of the funeral homes in the area they're wonderful about those things, and they help us. But we just want to make sure that all of you know that and you can share that information as well. We do VA healthcare enrollment and referrals. So if someone's having an issue and there's something that they need, maybe you already belong to the VA healthcare system, but you're not really sure, what am I supposed to do if I need adaptive equipment, or I need something that's abnormal, just regular healthcare, I need mental health care, or I need something, we can help refer you to the right resources at the VA, because the VA offers a lot of things, and I'm going to capture some of that in a couple slides here in the future here. So we have crisis and homelessness that we deal with. I just the other day spent 5 hours working with someone who was homeless and got him placed somewhere so that he would not be living out of his vehicle. There's a lot of things that come with that, but we help with those things. So there's not a lot of resources in our area. So there too, if you got ideas on how to make those things better so that we have places for people to live, I'm open to that always. And there's a lot of us working together to try to help those people, because I always think, how could anybody in this cold state be homeless? But it does happen, unfortunately. Financial resources, we have a lot of different ways of helping people that are having a hard time. Just the other night, I got to play Santa Claus, and I got to go out with the American Legion in Little Falls, and there's all kinds of veterans organizations and churches and wonderful people in our community, and thank you for all of you that probably do wonderful things for people to help make their holidays special. But we had a few families in need, so we got to play Santa Claus, and I got to pet a reindeer. Or not really a reindeer, it was a regular deer, but he got kissed me in the face, and I'm like, I'm never going deer hunting again, because it was just so cute. I've never actually got to pet one, a real live one. But those are the things that are really special, but it's nice to be able to help people, because things happen. People lose jobs, or their health gets poor, and they need those kinds of help. We do employment guidance, so when people get out of the military, they speak a different language. I noticed that myself. When I left the military and I wrote my first resume and went to my first interview, it was like I was still in the military. You have to be retrained. How do we transfer those things over to the regular world? So that's some things that we can help with and find resources to get people jobs so they're back into the regular society. We help with education benefits and get people to their colleges and work with the veterans, people that work at the colleges, so we do that. Transportation. And I'm working right now with a Region 5 transportation program, so I'm always open to ideas. If you, the transportation resources that you have now, if you have issues with that, let me know about those things so I can bring those up to these meetings, because we want to make transportation for not only veterans but everybody in the community more effective, more efficient, and have more things available. So that's something that's huge. And I know as we get older or we just, health things happen. I had a hip replacement not too long ago, and honestly, I called and I had TRICAP. I'm like, I'm going to try this out and see how it works. And I hate those things where you got to push a lot of buttons to get the person you want to talk to. I want to talk to a person. So I brought that up at the meeting. I said, you know what? If that was hard for me, that's hard for a lot of people probably. I mean, it wasn't hard, but it wasn't smooth and effective. So that's what I'm saying. Those kinds of things that you guys can bring to me, let me know, because I will bring those up. Adaptive equipment. So if we have things like we have a walker here or someone needs a wheelchair, we can get those things, or if you have them and you want to donate them for other veterans to use, give us a call because we can try to help you. Also, a lot of people that belong to the VA healthcare system can get those from your primary care provider as well. They do it just like they do a prescription for medication. So a lot of times you talk to your primary care and you need something like when I had hip replacement, they gave me all kinds of things so I could put my shoes on, put my socks on, a little reacher thing. Those things were lifesavers, honestly. So, it was actually a good learning experience on all the things that they could get me, but all I had to do was talk to my primary care provider. She did a referral and the VA got me what I needed. So I think that's really nice. We help with legal issues. We don't have free lawyers that are going to do wills or anything like that, but they can help give you guidance. So I can give you phone numbers to people that can help you provide guidance on those things, because it's confusing. A lot of times, what am I going to do with my house that I have now, and how do I prepare if I'm going to go into a nursing home or something like that? What are smart things to do? So we can have people help you figure those things out. I'm not the expert, and I'm certainly not a lawyer, but I'll get you to people who can help you. We have specialty licensing tax exemptions. So people that are 70% service connected or higher have a property tax exemption that they're eligible for. And then if they're at 100%, they're eligible for that property tax, and they can also get a free fishing license and DNR hunting license for the rest of their life. So those are some things to keep in mind if you know people that are in those areas. There are also different ways to get ID cards, and also now, if you didn't know, on your Minnesota driver's license, take your DD-214, or actually come to our office, we stamp it certified, and then you can have that veteran little emblem or whatever it is put on your driver's license, and then when you go to Home Depot and you buy something, you can say, hey, I'm a veteran, and get that 10% discount. So those are things, it's kind of nice to have those things. We can help you with finding records. If you don't know where your records are, we can help you find that, or if you know someone out there that says, I just don't know where my military records are, there's a lot of ways that we can try to help obtain those. I know a lot of people, there was a time and period where things were burned in a fire, but we can work through some of that and try to get you some of those things. Military pay, retirement, and we just had a big change in TRICARE for military retirees. We help with those things as well. We can get you to the people. If we don't know the answers, we get you to the people that can help with those things. So those are other things for the individuals that fall into that category. Home loans, and like I mentioned, those discounts. Or if you're going to take a trip and you're looking at, hey, how can I save money because I'm a veteran? Give me a call. Maybe we can save a little money on a trip that you're taking. So sometimes I have some inside information on those things. And if we can save money and go to the Bahamas, why not, right? We do life insurance. With life insurance, we don't necessarily always sign you up for life insurance, but we can refer you to some resources where you could sign up through if it's a better choice than what you already have. Or if you signed up when you were in the military and you still have that, we can help provide phone numbers so if something happens to your family has that information. Because there were different times and eras where different things were available, so we have those information and resources. And then I'm looking at, we can help with, we've done things like military awards. We've had people that were wounded in service and didn't get their Purple Heart, and we were able to work with them and get all the documents put together and actually get those for people that were deserving. It's pretty special when you can do that. We're not always successful, but if there's someone that is deserving of that, we certainly do all we can to try to help you with those things. And then their wellness programs. So some things that I learned at the VA. So there's a lot of cool wellness programs out there. You can do yoga classes at the VA. They have a swimming pool. So if you are enrolled in the VA healthcare system, these are things you can ask your primary care provider about. What kind of wellness programs that can help me? There's pain management courses that you can go through that are more natural instead of trying to take a bunch of medications that maybe don't work that well for you. There's a lot of ways of just learning breathing techniques or using the pool or using their exercise facility, and maybe you can use all those things totally free. So they're available to you, and it's really neat that they're out there. That's a lot of stuff that we do. And then there's that form. The DD-214 is what drives everything. That is your discharge form. That is the most important document ever, and so you should have that at our office, and then your family should know where that is. The other thing down in the far, far corner for National Guard, when you get out of the National Guard, some individuals will have what's called a National Guard or an NGB-22. It's a discharge paper. And people go, well, why is that important? You know, maybe I don't have entitlements because you have to be active duty to get veterans benefits. But burial benefits are probably one of the most important when we look at that because it shows the highest rank held for people that were in the National Guard. So we need that because if you're buried at the state cemetery or if we do a grave marker for you, we want to have that highest rank held. And sometimes families aren't sure what that highest rank was because, they don't always understand. So if you have that paperwork available with that highest rank held, it makes things easier for all of us. Things to know that are important to notify us about. So anytime you have a change, if you have worked with our office and you move, we need to have your address changed at our office. But the interesting thing is if you use the VA as well, you have to change it there too. Because VA healthcare is separate from our office. So we can't change it at the VA healthcare system. So it's just crazy. Everywhere you go, if you move or change your phone number or you change your email, you got to tell everybody. So you got to tell us because we will do it. We'll change it for the benefits administration, but the healthcare is actually a separate entity. So we just need to know that. And just always keep us updated because I just sent out like holiday Christmas letters to everyone. And we had a lot that come back every year because people move, things change. But just try to remember those things to let us know about that. Also, direct deposit. This one's always important as well. I tell people if you change your banking information, wait a couple months. Don't close that old account until you know that your checks are going into the new one. But you have to also let us know so that we can get your benefits changed over. We're the ones that help you with that and getting your direct deposit updated. So that's another thing to know. Anytime that we have a death in the family, someone gets divorced, new children are born, something changes somehow in the family, let us know because there might be dependent stuff, information that we need to know. So update us with that stuff so that we keep everything current on benefits. We've had people that have gotten divorced, for instance, and they were getting paid because did you know that when you get to a certain level, you can get paid for being married. You get an extra $100 a month for having a dependent if you're like 40% or higher. So I always say, hey, my husband's worth it just for that. No. But anyway, no. But it's important that you change it. Say for some reason something changes, either a death or you get divorced for some reason, and you're getting paid that. And we had people that have owed money back for 5 to 10 years. That's a lot of money that adds up after a while. So we just need to be updated on those things. And the other thing is you get paid for your children too. So when people have children, so some days when they drive you crazy, they're still worth something. But then when they turn 18, that changes unless they're going to college or still in high school. So we have to know about those things too. So people have to come in and see us in their special paperwork that we do for those dependents. So they're all worth it too. All my family's worth it. Even over the holidays, I drive them crazy, they drive me crazy. That's how it works. I think, how did they say that on Christmas vacation? It's the holidays, we're all crazy. It happens. So any changes in health, Anything that is service connected, if you have something that's already service connected and it got worse. One that people don't always think about, hearing loss. A lot of times we have people, everybody that was in the military, practically everybody, has some bit of hearing loss. And as time goes on, that hearing loss gets worse. So we can file for an increase, and then that could raise your benefits. Or if all of a sudden you have some health condition, a cancer or something that's different that maybe was related to service, if you're unsure, give us a call and we can help you and see if maybe it was service related and we can connect it and get you benefits for those. So if you guys use email, and who has email in here? Who uses email? If you're not on my distribution list, get one of my cards for me, or if you got this handout, just give me an email and I can get you added to that. I send out emails every couple weeks, and anytime that if there's things like today, that this event that's happening, or if we've got adaptive equipment that's out there that maybe people can use, or somebody's got to donate something, or somebody needs help, maybe someone just needs help shoveling and we've got volunteers that can help with that, we can send out emails and put that information out. It's my quick way of being able to get that information out. And not everybody has a computer, and that's okay, but maybe you can connect with someone who does and say, hey, is there anything out there that's new that I should be aware of? It's just a really nice way to communicate with people. So, and I do try to go on the radio every so often and sing. I do those things, or I do ads. But if I have something that's really important, I'll get out and party line, or I'll go and talk on the events line with Ron Specker and talk about different events and things that are going on as well. So that's another way. The Morrison County Record, I try to put information in there. So we try to do all kinds of things, trying to reach out to people and see what's the most effective. There's also the Morrison County, if you're a Facebook person or you like to get out on the website, I've got that information out there. Those are ways that you can find out things that we have going on as well. And if you are a computer savvy person, this vets.gov thing is an awesome place to go, because you can get on there and you can track your own benefits, which is pretty neat. So if you don't have an account and you want to get bored in January and say, hey, I just want to play on the computer and figure this out, because it does take a little bit to get an account. And if you have issues, give us a call and we can help you with that. But it's a really great way to track all of your benefits that you have going. And if you didn't know, and my father is not a computer savvy person, but sometimes getting to the VA is difficult. And so they have these nice little devices. They're basically just a little iPad. And he got that thing and he figured it out in no time. But now he can talk with his provider via telehealth. So basically, he just pushes a button on there, and when it's time for his appointment, he just talks with his provider at the VA that way, without leaving his home. It's really a neat thing. When they first came out, they were practicing. So if you're one of those people that it's hard for you to get to the VA, ask your provider if you can get on the telehealth, because maybe that is a way that would work a lot better for you. Because sometimes just finding a ride to the VA is hard. It's not, especially in the winter or the weather's bad or whatever the situation may be, that might be another option for you. So the big thing is, and people get kind of confused on, what do we do if I belong to the VA healthcare and there's an emergency? The biggest thing is always, of course, pick up that phone and call 911 and get to the nearest place if something is very critical. VA does have urgent care and you can go there. But the other thing to understand is that you have to notify, because the billing can get kind of confusing. And this is where your family is important, because if you're the person having the heart attack, it's going to be pretty hard for you to remember to call the VA and say, hey, this is going on, and I need to notify you so that you can take care of the billing. So make sure that they have these phone numbers so that if something urgent does happen to you, that they can notify the VA, and that helps that whole billing process. Now, if you have Medicare, they're going to bill Medicare and then the VA. That's just kind of how that works, unless it's a service-connected condition. But the VA and the healthcare facility often will work these things out, and then sometimes it doesn't go that smoothly, and then that's when you come see us and we have to help you later on with the billing. But that's the biggest thing. So, just calling in and making sure. But these phone numbers, I called them to make sure they're the right ones, so they're supposed to be right. Because the first time I called, all I got was the operator, and he had no idea who to connect me to. And I thought, wow, if I'm in an emergency here, I'm going to be in a panic, and then I'm going to be like, no one knows what to do. That's what's going to happen. I mean, who wants to be in that position? So I'm like, let's get the right phone number. So there we go. We got it, guys. And when I'm talking about transportation and adaptive equipment, a few years ago, we ended up connecting with the Disabled American Veterans, and we have a van that is parked behind our county building right now, and it will take you to appointments at the VA, which is really, really smooth. They pick you up right at your house. The biggest thing is, like a lot of different transportation things, you have to plan ahead a couple days in advance and then call, and we have the phone numbers, so if you need the phone number for the DAV transportation, give us a call. But definitely, if you can plan like a week ahead of time, that's going to be your best. You know, as soon as you know about that appointment, let's get it all scheduled so that they can have volunteers come pick you up. And if you're really ambitious and you want to help, we're always looking for drivers. Always, always. The DAV would love to have people help drive, and that's a nice, it's just, yeah, that program has worked really well and taken a lot of things off of our plate because it was hard for us to manage that and all the other things we have to do. And then, like I said, the adaptive equipment, we have a lot of resources that we can get those items for you, and also we have people that will take them. So if you have things that you want to donate, just let us know. And as I mentioned a little bit before that the VA healthcare system has a lot, but they do have things for families too. So they have programs for caregiver programs, or we know of resources in the community. So if you are a caregiver of an individual and you're having a tough time, one thing that I learned, and I'm bringing up the hip thing a lot, but it's just I learned so much from that experience. I guess it's just a good example. But sometimes just being able to talk to other individuals who are going through the same thing. So say if you're dealing with someone who has dementia or Alzheimer's, and you're just, it's difficult for that caregiver, and they just don't know what to do. If you talk to other people that are going through that same struggle, you're going to be able to connect, and that's going to be the best help. I had the simple thing of as a hip replacement, but for me it was really hard because I thought I was too young to be doing this stuff, and I'm really active, and I got really depressed, and I talked to someone else who was my age going through the same thing, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm not healing slower than that other people, and I'm okay, because I thought I wasn't okay, but I was. But it really helped me, and it's just, that's the best way. You got to find other people that are going through those same things, and it's amazing how therapeutic that can be for you. So let us help you if you're those people that need those types of therapy and things like that. And like I said, they got fitness and nutrition programs. So say if you're diabetic or you're just saying, you know what, I ate way too much turkey and cookies over Christmas and I need help losing weight. They got programs at the VA to help people with those things too. And like I said, I didn't know they had a fitness place that people could use. If you have to go through your primary care provider and be qualified, but there's a lot of people that could maybe go there and use that. And the pool is warm. I'm like, oh, that would be kind of nice because I don't like being cold. They have a lot of education classes, and there's a lot of things in our community. So if there's something you're not sure about, we can try to help you find those resources. They have adult daycare. At the VA, we also have that at the St. Otto's Home Care Center that is connected with the VA. So sometimes if you need a break, if you're a caregiver, that might be an option. And plus it gives that veteran a place to go work with other people that are going through the same struggles they are and just be able to be active in activities and get out of the house. So that is an awesome program. There's home care programs, hospice programs, a lot of neat things. The one thing that is out there at the St. Cloud VA, that is a federalized institution. And so with them, in order to stay at the nursing home at the St. Cloud VA, you have to have a 70 to 100% service-connected disability to stay there. It doesn't matter if you're wartime or not. I don't like that because I don't necessarily agree with that, and I know that's going to be on TV, but I don't. I think that should probably take some priority, but it doesn't matter. That's the rules, and they have to make limitations. But the actual state homes that are in those different areas, so they're in Minneapolis, we've got them in Fergus Falls, Hastings, there's one up by Silver Bay that's by Duluth, one that's in Laverne, and one will be coming in the Bemidji area, we're hoping. And almost anybody that's served in the military is qualified. Spouses can also be placed in these same homes or care. They're kind of more like a senior living facility. They're really nice. They have activities. They take you out fishing. You get to go shopping. You get to do all kinds of programs. They're beautiful. But they are really busy and there are long waiting lists. So I tell people, if you think you're getting close to that time and you think that this might be something you need, fill out the application because a lot of times it's a 2-year wait. And if they call you and say, do you need this, and you don't, just tell them, and then you could just go right back on the waiting list. So if you think that that might be something that, if your health is getting kind of poor and you're thinking about that, it might be good to do the applications a little bit early. That's how those work. And then they also have programs for addictions and things like that at the VA as well. Financial crisis. So financial crisis is not only just for the veteran, but say if we have widows that are in situations where they need help, we do have programs like I mentioned earlier, the pension program. We have state programs that are out there. If we have say if there was a huge tornado or something came through and it wrecked your property and the governor deems that there's programs through the VA that could help, there might be grants out there in those types of situations. That usually is announced, and that's where I would send those out on emails like, hey, if your property was damaged because of this reason, you might be eligible for $1,000 or whatever they would decide would be appropriate for that situation. But there's a lot of different things. If you're low income, they have dental and optical programs through the state of Minnesota. We have to have the last 3 bank statements and proof of assets and where you are financially, what your income and expenses are. But there are different things out there. Some of these things can be a lot of paperwork, but they can be a lot of help as well. So they're nice to know that they're out there for both the veteran and for their spouse. And then there's also a lot of things, if we can't help you, there's things out in our community. There's fuel and energy assistance programs. A lot of people don't realize that there are fuel and energy assistance programs that they can sign up for, like through TRICAP and things like that. So if you don't know how to apply for those things, I've helped plenty of people do that. So we want to help you. Once you turn 65, calling Senior Linkage Line and just checking into all the benefits that you might be eligible for, and if you're wondering about what Medicare programs you should sign up for, give these people a call. They are amazing, and they have all the answers that I may not have. So I always say give them a call. And I also put on there the Veterans Crisis Line, because if for some reason you can't get a hold of our office, or it's a weekend or a holiday or an evening and something tragic happens, that Veterans Crisis Line is a nice number to call, because it's a 24/7 number that people can call if that situation should happen. And we always hope that there's not going to be that, but you just never know. More important things, when I was talking about we need those last 3 bank statements when we're looking at financial crisis things. We might need information on your property tax, rental agreements, mortgage things, pay stubs if you have retirement pay stubs, any IRAs that you have. So just think of all those different things, and kind of sometimes if you're getting close to being in that situation or it might happen, it's always nice to try to have like a folder and have those things somewhat organized, because then it helps when you come in. I'm horrible about that, and I think myself as I tell other people that I should have my things more organized than what they are, just because. You just never know what's going to happen in life, and I have things for like if something happens to me, I tell my kids, I've got a folder, go to that folder, and everything's in there. And they're like, why, Mom? But you don't know. You could be any age. There's not an age limit on when things can happen. Proof of medical insurance and costs, all those things are good to keep track of, and any bills that you have. So that's where those things are for financial reasons, but also I really advise people to prepare like a folder so that if something happens to you, your family knows where all these things are. It makes things a lot easier if something does happen to you, because then they can help a lot more, because it's a very stressful time, and a lot of times we're working with people and it's like, wow. And it makes me think about it a lot more. So I hope that I'll spread that word and more people will try to be organized too. I think it'll help everyone. We have programs for families, like I've mentioned a lot of times. One of the things that I think is really nice, sometimes during deployments or different things that happen in people's military careers, or even when they get out, it doesn't only just impact that veteran, but that family member. Those family members have a hard time, whether it's the children, the spouse. They might be struggling with, they can get post-traumatic stress disorder just as bad as that veteran can. And there's free counseling service, and I put those numbers on here. All they need is the Veterans DD 214, and Lutheran Social Services has some great behavioral health programs for the entire family. I think that's so wonderful, because a lot of times there's things out there, but maybe they're really, really expensive, and maybe not everybody can afford those things. So being able to find resources that can make things easier. Talk a little bit about exciting, not really exciting stuff, but burial and death benefits. But again, we do, so when someone passes away, you see that flag that they present at the funerals, we're the people that get those. So that's why I say having that paperwork at our office is super important, because then we don't have to try to track it down for everyone, so that we can make sure that wherever that's going, gets that flag. And if anything, everybody that served in the military at all is eligible for that at least. And then there's many other things that people can be eligible for, and we just say, have the families call us, and we'll work through those, whether it's grave markers, there's free urns. There's a company that makes free urns for veterans. So we have brochures in our office for that. I like that. I put that in my little folder for my family because I said when I pass, I want everything to be really cheap for you guys so that you can enjoy yourself. You know, that's just my way of thinking, and we all look at things in a different way, but that was just something that I thought about. Then, some of you have heard of the Bronze Star markers, and so in the past we would go out and we would place them so in the year that a veteran passes away, the next year we get a Bronze Star marker for that particular veteran. And we would go out to the different cemeteries and place them. But what had happened is people sometimes in our world would decide that they wanted to remove those. And then the families would go, what happened to my Bronze Star? I don't know why people would take that and be so disrespectful, but people are in our society. So now what we do is we send a letter to the families, and then they come pick them up from us. So that following year after a person passes away, they have a Bronze Star marker, then they can go place it when they want to, and then I always tell people, pick it up after Memorial Day, because then no one takes it. Or it's up to you. If you want to leave it, it's okay, because it's, every place is different. But those are some of the things that we have for those. How do we make things easier for our families? Just letting them know we're all, finding that trustworthy person, and that's important too. Not every family member is trustworthy, unfortunately, either. So we have to find that right person that we can say that is safe to know where all of your stuff is. So if something happens to you, they know where everything is. Keys, insurance, bills, all those different things makes things a lot easier. I don't want to make this all depressing. It's the holidays. I don't want to make, but it's important stuff that we work with, and I just want people to know that that's something that they should probably try to organize. And we even have cool folders in our office, so if anybody wants one, we have one with checklists for you. One of the things that we do a lot of, and probably is the most important thing that people get confused about, my buddy got hearing loss and I didn't, or my buddy got he's service connected for a back injury and I'm not. Why does that happen? And every situation is so different. And we don't make the decisions at our office. But the critical things that we have to have, something had to have happened in service to, say, if you hurt your back. Something had to have happened in service, and we have to have some kind of proof of that. The other really important part is we got to see someone now, and we have to have been treated, because your back hurts. But when you go to see those military doctors, or you come to our office and you say, my back is really bothering me, I can't file a claim unless I have some kind of proof. We have to have medical documentation, medical proof that says that you are diagnosed with something today. So maybe you have, if that was a back issue, you hurt your back in the military, now you have degenerative disc disease, or you have a bulged disc in your back. We have to have that diagnosis and those medical treatment records. And then if that doctor can say, I think the military definitely caused this, that really helps. We have to put that link together. That's the important part that I wanted to bring up with that. And sometimes one person could be standing right next to you and have the exact same thing happen, and they get service connected and you don't. But we can appeal those things, and we can work on those things. We'll help you through that process. Maybe there's a piece you're missing that someone else had. We don't know, but we have to work through that. But the biggest thing is to understand we're not all exactly the same. And then we look for volunteers. If you're able to drive, or if there's things that you want to help with, the VA has all kinds of programs. If you like playing bingo and you want to go play bingo with other veterans at the VA, they are looking for volunteers for those things. There's things maybe they need help shopping, and if you love shopping or different things, contact us. There's always different places and organizations that are looking for volunteers. So if you're looking for something to do, let us know, and we can maybe connect you to something that might be really fun for you. Sometimes helping other people is the most beneficial thing. The biggest thing that I want to mention is a lot of times, especially during the winter months, I don't like to go outside because I do not like cold. I hate cold, just despise it. But I have to get out and I have to keep busy and I have to be doing things. And then it goes by really quick so I can enjoy summer and go kayaking and stuff like that. But it's just good to be out there doing other things because you're connecting with other people. And if you're stuck at home and you can't get out, maybe there's even something you can do from home, or we got volunteers that maybe they can come visit you. Maybe we can make that connection. That would be really cool too. So let me know, and if there's things out there that you're thinking of that might be helpful, we can see what we can do so that everybody can be working together and being super happy. And finally, there we are. There's my information. I enjoyed talking with you guys. This was great. I know I talked your ear off, but that's a lot of information. So anytime you guys need something, just give us a call. 632-0290 is our main number.